Get ready to journey back to Middle-earth, because today we're doing a deep dive into Tolkien.
Okay.
But not the epic battles and sweeping landscapes you might expect.
Right.
We're going for like those, wait, hold on a minute, details that make Tolkien's world so captivating.
Yeah.
You know, those little things even diehard fans might have missed.
What's fascinating about Tolkien is how he poured so much thought into every nook and cranny of his world.
Hmm.
Even like seemingly mundane aspects of it, like Hobbit birthdays.
Okay, this I gotta hear.
Yeah.
We know hobbits love their food,
Right.
but are you telling me they were practically obsessed with birthdays too?
Well, obsessed might be a tad strong,
Look,
but they certainly had a unique perspective on it.
okay.
Imagine a life where every single day is someone's birthday. In the Shire. That's just how it was.
Wait, every single day?
Yeah,
Were they just constantly bouncing between parties stuffed full of cake?
pretty much.
Wow.
It paints a picture of a uniquely festive society. And remember, all those gifts Bilbo gave out at his party?
Right.
That's no anomaly. That's standard Hobbit birthday etiquette, giving presents on your birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a way to avoid those awkward "it's your birthday, I forgot" moments.
Right.
But seriously, every single day,
Every single day.
even if the gifts were small, the sheer volume must have been incredible.
Precisely. It speaks to a culture of constant celebration and generosity.
Wow.
Imagine growing up in a place where every single day someone was demonstrating their appreciation for you with a gift.
Right.
No matter how small, it makes Bilbo's grand affair all the more impactful, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like a birthday bonanza on top of an already birthday-filled life.
It really makes you rethink those idyllic Shire scenes.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a peaceful existence. It was practically nonstop partying,
Right.
which actually makes the contrast with the darker events to come even more stark.
Indeed. And even amidst those joyful Hobbit birthday celebrations,
Right.
whispers of those looming shadows were already starting to surface. Even if folks weren't paying much attention, like those warnings from the gaffer that everyone seemed to brush off.
Oh yeah, the Gettifer. Even in the Shire, rumors must have spread like wildfire.
Oh, yeah.
What was it he was saying again about dangers beyond their borders?
Full of wisdom and concern, he tried to warn the younger hobbits about the dangers lurking beyond their peaceful borders.
Okay.
He spoke of elves and dragons, creatures most hobbits considered the stuff of legend.
Which I imagine went in one ear and out the other for a lot of the younger folk,
Sure.
especially with all the excitement surrounding Bilbo Baggins and his sudden wealth.
Exactly. They were far more interested in the dwarves arriving under the cover of night
Right.
and that wandering conjurer Gandalf than in the gaffer's ramblings,
Right.
dismissing them as the worries of an old hobbit.
Yeah.
Little did they know.
The irony is palpable.
Yeah.
Here's the gaffer essentially dropping truth bombs about the epic events about to unfold,
Right.
and everyone's distracted by Bilbo's parties and treasures.
It highlights how, even in a place as seemingly idyllic as the Shire, there's always more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
And perhaps those seemingly outlandish rumors hold a grain of truth after all.
Yeah.
Though who can blame those hobbits for being captivated by the enigma that was Bilbo Baggins?
That's for sure.
Yeah,
The guy was practically a legend in his own right, even before the whole dragon in a ring business.
right.
But speaking of intriguing figures,
Yeah.
your earlier mention of Gandalf reminded me he wasn't always the welcome guest we see in places like Rivendell.
Right.
To think his relationship with someone like Denethor, the steward of Gondor, wasn't exactly, rosy.
Ah, yes. Gandalf and Denethor.
Yeah.
Now there's a fascinating dynamic.
Yeah.
You see, Gandalf, despite being a seemingly welcome guest in Rivendell
Mm-hmm.
and a trusted advisor to many, didn't always find such open arms,
Right.
especially when it came to Denethor.
Denethor, proud and wary of outside influence as he was, saw Gandalf as a rival.
Precisely, Denethor might have perceived Gandalf's wisdom and counsel as a challenge to his authority,
Ah.
especially as the steward of Gondor, a position that came with its own burdens and anxieties, right?
That's a perspective I hadn't considered before. It's
Yeah.
like their tense relationship adds a whole new layer of complexity to those scenes in Minas Tirith.
Right.
Do you think this distrust always simmered beneath the surface, or was there a particular event that drove a wedge between them?
It's difficult to say for sure, but Tolkien hints that their relationship wasn't always strained.
Okay.
Perhaps Denethor, already burdened by the threat of Mordor,
Yeah.
grew increasingly wary of Gandalf's influence, seeing him as a threat to his control, especially as Gandalf's true mission as one of the Astari Starjisha, those powerful wizards sent to Middle-earth, became more apparent.
Right. It makes you realize that even within the forces of good, there were conflicting personalities and power struggles.
Absolutely.
Talk about adding another layer of depth to the story.
Absolutely.
Right.
And speaking of layers, let's switch gears for a moment and delve into something equally fascinating: the meticulous creation of Middle-earth itself.
Okay.
Because Tolkien's challenges weren't limited to orcs and Balrogs,
Right.
He even had his share of battles with editors.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
I always pictured Tolkien as this solitary genius crafting his world in peace.
Yeah.
To think he had to wrangle with editorial headaches too?
True.
What was the source of contention?
Well, Tolkien, the meticulous world builder that he was,
Yeah.
had very specific ideas about his creation,
Right.
right down to the very language of Middle-earth.
Mm-hmm.
He fought tooth and nail against any editorial changes that he felt compromised the integrity of his vision.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Tell me more about these editorial battles. What kind of changes are we talking about?
Well, for example,
Yeah.
they tried to convince him to change dwarves to dwarfs,
Okay.
elvish to elfish,
Okay.
and even nasturtians to nasturtiums.
Those seem like fairly minor tweaks.
Yeah.
Why were those specific words so important to him?
It wasn't about the size of the changes,
Okay.
but the principle behind them. You see, for Tolkien,
Yeah.
these weren't just arbitrary words.
Right.
They were deeply intertwined with the history mythology and even the very essence of his creations.
Okay.
To change them even slightly felt like chipping away at the soul of Middle-earth.
So he was defending not just his story, but the entire fabric of his created world.
Exactly.
I can understand his frustration.
Precisely. It speaks to his dedication to his craft
Right.
and his unwavering belief in the power of language to shape and reflect his vision.
Yeah.
He wasn't just writing a story.
Right.
He was constructing a living, breathing world.
Wow.
And every word mattered.
It makes you appreciate Tolkien on a whole other level, doesn't it? It's like
Right.
realizing your favorite painting isn't just a pretty picture.
Yeah,
It's a masterpiece of brushstrokes and carefully chosen hues.
absolutely.
And speaking of meticulous choices,
Yeah.
this conversation has me thinking about Tolkien's incredible use of names. They're more than just labels in his work.
Right.
They're evocative, almost lyrical in their construction.
Tolkien understood the power of names, how they could evoke emotions, history, even entire landscapes with just a few carefully chosen syllables.
Yeah.
He used language to mirror the very essence of his creations.
Right.
And nowhere is this more evident than in his names.
Names like Fangorn and Lothlórien just roll off the tongue and conjure such vivid imagery.
Absolutely.
It's like they hold hidden meanings, a secret language woven into the fabric of Middle-earth.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Take Fangorn Forest, for instance.
Okay.
The name itself, Fangorn, actually translates to tree beard in Old English,
Wow.
directly referencing the ancient Ent who dwells there.
Okay.
It's Tolkien weaving the very nature of Treebeard into the name of his domain.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's not just a cool-sounding name. It's a direct link to the character and his connection to the ancient forest.
Yeah.
What about a place like Lothlórien? It just sounds inherently magical.
Lothlórien, the elven realm, is equally deliberate in its construction.
Yeah.
The name itself evokes a sense of blossoming beauty, radiant light, and a deep connection to the natural world.
Right.
It's no accident that Tolkien chose a name that so perfectly captures the ethereal, almost otherworldly beauty of the elves and their domain.
It's like he's dropping clues,
Yeah.
inviting us to dig deeper to uncover the hidden layers of meaning embedded in his world.
Precisely. And
Yeah.
that's why I believe that every time you encounter a name in Tolkien's work,
Yeah.
you should pause and consider its significance.
Right.
Because more often than not, those names are carefully chosen keys that unlock a deeper understanding of his world, his characters, and his unparalleled use of language.
It's like he's whispering to us, pay attention. There's magic hidden in every syllable, which honestly wouldn't surprise me in the least from the mind of Tolkien. It's amazing how these names, these seemingly small details, add such depth and richness to the overall story. It's like each element of Middle-earth is a thread meticulously woven into this vast and intricate tapestry. And speaking of details, there's one more Tolkien tidbit. I'm dying to unpack that good old Hobbit pipeweed.
Okay.
I'd always assumed it was something unique to the Shire, but in my research for this deep dive, I discovered that's not quite the case.
That's right. You see, the hobbits of the Shire weren't actually the originators of pipeweed. That honor, according to Tolkien, belongs to their distant cousins, The Bree Hobbits.
Wait, the Bree Hobbits?
Yeah.
Those easygoing folks at the crossroads of Middle-earth.
Right.
I always thought they just adopted the pipe smoking from their Shire neighbors.
It seems the Bree Hobbits, those who dwelled in the village of Bree and its surrounding lands, considered themselves pioneers of sorts when it came to pipeweed.
Okay.
They were the first to cultivate and smoke it, if Tolkien's accounts are to be believed.
That's fascinating. So those masters of comfort and good living in the Shire, those pipeweed enthusiasts we all know and love, didn't even invent their own favorite pastime. It makes you wonder how that knowledge sat with them.
One can only imagine the spirited debates that might have occurred over a pint at the Green Dragon.
Right.
But Tolkien makes it clear that the Bree Hobbits were quite proud of this distinction, viewing themselves as the original connoisseurs of pipeweed.
It's almost comical to picture these Bree hobbits puffing away on their pipes, looking down their noses at the Shire hobbits for discovering pipeweed later. Did Tolkien ever mention how this tradition spread beyond the hobbits?
He did. Tolkien tells us that it was from Bree that the practice of pipe smoking spread to other corners of Middle-earth,
Wow.
reaching dwarves, rangers, even wizards like Gandalf.
Really?
The prancing pony that cozy in Bree emerges as this unlikely hub for pipeweed culture, where hobbits, dwarves, and travelers from all walks of life would gather and share a smoke.
That's a detail I completely missed. It's like something as seemingly simple as pipeweed ends up having this rich history connecting characters and places across Middle-earth. You'd never think a relaxing smoke could be so revealing about the world Tolkien built.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It speaks to the immersive depth of Tolkien's creation.
Yeah.
Even the most seemingly insignificant detail, when examined closely,
Right.
often reveals a fascinating story, a hidden connection, or a deeper layer of meaning. It's all part of what makes his world so endlessly fascinating to explore.
It's like he's inviting us to become detectives in Middle-earth, searching for those hidden clues and connections, those little aha moments that make his work so rewarding to revisit time and time again.
Precisely. This deep dive was just a small taste of the many mysteries and wonders hidden within Tolkien's world. There's a lifetime of discovery to be had for those willing to delve into the details, and I have a feeling Tolkien wouldn't have it any other way.
It's like he's whispering to us through the ages. Look closer. There's magic hidden in the details. And on that note, here's a final thought for all you fellow Tolkien enthusiasts. Don't be afraid to dig deeper to explore those less traveled paths in your next journey through Middle-earth. You never know what fascinating details you might unearth.